Hello, my friends. How are you today? Listen, we are going to do, I have stuff everywhere because of this tag series, and that's because it takes a lot of stuff. So, what we're going to do is, I'm going to show you, we're going to do this floating pocket, okay? This tag goes inside this top. This one's kind of army looking, but it's my example. And I keep it so that I don't forget how to make it. Okay, so you've got one pocket with a larger tag. You've got, of course, you got the pocket that goes to the larger tag. You've got the medium tag right here that goes into the medium pocket. Then you have this small pocket right here that holds smaller tags. You can put any size in there you'd like. Everything, this big ticket, this pocket, and this pocket are all stitched. Now this pocket and this pocket stitches to the front of this pocket. And this is the back of that pocket. Now, if you don't want it to be a floating pocket, you don't have to have it be a floating pocket. It wouldn't matter what's on the back. You could just glue this down to your page. Now, I got to close my door just a moment. My door just popped open for some reason. I must have not had it completely closed. All right. Now, this is not your easy everyday throw things on a tag. This is when you have to love your tag because it's time consuming, okay? I have 3 ready for us to do. We probably won't get but 1 or 2 done, but we can try. Now, I'm going to lay the measurements right here so you have a minute to look at those measurements. Let me make sure they're straight. Zoom in on them so you can see them. Now, as you're looking at those measurements, I've cut everything out. What I'm going to explain to you is that we will, where's my sample? It's underneath here, excuse me. We will be backing this tag with journaling paper, okay? We will be backing this tag with something to, now these are light enough that you can journal on them. It has to be some light enough that you can journal on the back, okay? That's why these don't have extra paper on them. They were done with craft. These 2 will have grommets. They're the only ones that have grommets, okay? And they have, this large one is the only one that's stitched around. Now, let's see. All of them will have this circle punch. You want to line these 2 circle punches up the best you can. Okay. This little pocket here is attached to the front of this pocket. Okay. Now I think that's pretty clear. And then you can cut whatever size pocket you want for the little pocket. Okay. So I think we've had plenty of time to write this down. After you watch the video, if you didn't get it written down now, you can go back and look. Okay. So the large pocket is 3.5 by 5, and you cut 2 of those because I'm going to show you. We're going to make this one. No, we're going to make this one second. Okay, if we have time, we're going to make this one. Okay, and I kind of did it in calmer colors so you would be able to see it better, hopefully. So I'm going to set the small stuff aside for now. Now, this is our floating pocket, and I just backed it with craft paper. And what we're going to do is zigzag around this. Okay, now, what you need to remember is you want to bring your zigzag size as small as you can. Now, if you like to zigzag off the edges, do whatever you like. I'm not good at that. Or at least I feel like I'm not good at that. I would kind of backstitch on the two top sides. So I'm going to start over here and then end over there. I'm trying to see. I've got this new machine, so I'm not real sure. You know, and I've got gray in my sewing machine, so I don't know how gray is going to look with this, but it's no big deal, because gray can look a lot of different colors depending on what you're doing. So I'm going to move you over just a little. You should be able to see. And we're going to do this stitching first so we can get that behind us. And then we'll do everything else. Now, I've already inked everything. It's up to you whether you ink or not. I think it separates everything if you do. Keeps it from looking flat. Okay. Now I'm going to whip through this as fast as I can. It may not be the most perfect stitching I've ever done. I would not do it this fast normally. This has a pretty tight zigzag on it, just so you know. Okay. I got to get my husband in here to adjust my needle where it ends up in the fabric instead of up in the air. It's aggravating. I thought it was cool at first, but I don't like it like that. My machine is jumping like a crazy person. Back stitch. All right, so we'll do the same process for every one that you make, okay? Those scissors are a joke. Let me get some scissors that actually cut. Okay, so trim off your zigzagged edge thread, and this is how it will end up looking. And now, you know, you want to make it look neat, so trim all this stuff off unless you're into the loose strings. Now, before you sew around the outside of your tag, glue your paper to journal if you need to, unless you have paper that's white on the back. I do it because it's extra security for the tag. Now, this is the back of the tag. I'm just adding some glue, but not where I'm going to be sewing, okay? What I do is I just kind of lean them up together, try to get them as close to center as possible, and then I make sure all the edges, for some reason this one is not, I must have cut it a little long in some places, so we'll just trim around it. We'll just trim around it. Okay, just a little bit here on the bottom. You know, when you get to preparing for this series, believe it or not, you guys, there's a lot to it because there's so many different ways. I'm trying to kind of, you know, prep for each one the day before or the morning before. But there's a lot of prepping to do, especially when you only have an hour on your video. And I'm an hour video person. I can't do it any faster. I've tried. I've timed myself when I've been off video to just see if I can do it faster. Listen, I have done everything to try to make my videos shorter. And I'm sorry, guys, they're not. All right, so you glue, but not around the outside so that you're able to stitch. And on this, we're going to do a straight stitch. We don't want them all to be identical, right? So we're going to do a straight stitch. And hopefully the regular straight stitch will be fine. This is like, this is a wood background on, what did I do? This is a wood background on this tag, okay? So, in other words, it looks like paneling. I'm going to call it paneling. On your paneling tag, which I'm going to do a series with these different types of backgrounds. I'm going to do a segment, I guess I should say. I hate this. Whenever it stops, the needle stays up instead of going down. And if you just stitch, if you're not super slow like I'm doing right now, you can find yourself in trouble when it comes to stitching. See, it stopped right up in the air. I don't know if you guys can see the stitching. You know, sewing machines are not made to be in videos, really. So we're at the end. I'm going to back stitch. And there we go. Okay. Now, trim all this stuff up so you can see here. Now, I think this is all that has to be sewn. No. I did this totally wrong, you guys. Okay, so let me show you what I did wrong. Don't do this. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, this should have been stitched onto the front piece first. And now that I have the back on, I can't do that. So I'm going to have to stitch it and then glue it. And hopefully that will work. And the reason I say hopefully it will work is because, let me look here for a second, is because it is supposed to hold a tag. You know, when you add glue, it changes things just a little bit. So you want to, when you glue, you really want to use your thin tip. When you've done what I've done, you don't want to put a lot of glue on there because your tag won't fit. So hopefully I didn't mess this one up. If so, we'll just make a smaller tag. There's always a way to fix that, right? Okay, and normally I would try to match up. If I were just making one, I would try to match up my thread to my color. But because we're doing several, I'm just doing gray. I'm just doing gray. Sometimes I have gray in my machine. Sometimes I have black. Sometimes I have that bluish black. So, you know, or sometimes I have white. Depends on what the last project was, right? Okay, so now I'm going to get this glitter glue out because it does do... I'm going to bring you back this way. We're through with the sewing. Okay. So what I did was sew from here around. But normally, that would be done on just the front of this before it's zigzagged. I think you guys understand what I'm saying. Okay, but because we're at this point, now we're going to... I have a tendency to forget stuff like that. You know, when I'll wait, it'll be after I've stitched it together, I remember. I do that with a lot of different little things here and there. Like I'll want to put a tie on my book, and I'll forget to glue it in, you know, before when you're putting the fabric on. I have a tendency to do that. So we're going to use something with a fine tip on this particular one. And really probably would be, you know, good to use. So we're going to do the two sides and the bottom. Okay, I'm hoping this little pile right here don't go everywhere. I don't know what I did with my wipey. Let me grab one. I must have wiped something up right before I came on because, yeah, got it up under my fingernail. Way to go, Paula. All right, so now we're going to center this on both sides and then about the same amount of space on the bottom. I like to bring the top pocket down a little bit so you have more room for your medium-sized pocket. Now this is going to work, and you can do it this way, but just make sure you don't use Fabri-Tac on this pocket because it will be too small. Okay, now we'll set that aside to dry. Now we're going to come to the medium tag, and we're going to glue this medium tag together completely because it's not going to be stitched. And I think when I did my other samples, I left it to be stitched. Who knows about me? You know? Who knows about Paula? Okay. Now, line that up the best you can. Want to make sure you move it around while you have that opportunity. If not, take it apart and get it right, because this glitter glue will dry fast. There's no moving it, so you got to get it pretty accurate. And my glue is not cooperating. There we go. If you get it right on the bottom, it usually will follow suit to the rest of the tag. Okay, now I'm going to look and make sure everything, yeah, this is just slightly hanging over a little bit. So I'm just going to trim that little tiny bit off because I'm a perfectionist. I make myself crazy. Any of you out there that are perfectionists know what I mean. You're never pleased. Listen, when I was younger, and at that time I cleaned my own house before I got in terrible shape and have to have someone help me. Because I was just really particular. I would never have let someone, do my house. Okay, so here is this pocket, and it's gonna slide in back here where we just glued. And I wanted to show you this because see how close it is? That's why you have to have a very fine line in here. I'm going to leave that out for now. Here are the other little tags that go in here. We're going to let this dry a minute, and then we're going to do our grommets. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one while we, if I can get my glue to unplug here. You got to be careful because Fabri-Tac will close on you. Keep that pin in there. All right. So here's the second one we're going to do right here. And trying to keep these grommets with the right pack. Kind of matched up the colors. I decided to use some of those colored grommets that we never get our hands on. We buy them and we don't ever use them. Okay, so I've already glued this down, and I've already glued this down, but this one, if you notice, I wasn't thinking at the time. I was just, I thought it got stitched at the time, and it doesn't, so I'm kind of adding some of the glitter glue with this fine tip around the outside. And it'll probably bleed out a little bit, but that's all right. I just don't want the edge to come apart. See, look at all that. Yeah, Paula, you did that too well. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, there is how it works. So, yeah, this would be perfect. Now, you can stitch around this one if you want to, but that's not how I did it. Okay, so now, this one is already glued together. I went ahead and glued the others together to save time. This time, we're going to do this part correctly because I want you to know exactly how it's supposed to be done, okay? Now, I'm going to pull my machine back over here. And let me look and make sure I have you. You can see there. Okay. Now, we're going to take this these two pieces. I did these in funky. I just use scraps for all this, guys. You don't have to use, you know, pieces that aren't scraps. And you just decide where you want it to be on here. You want to ink all this before you put it down. And I did ink ahead of time. Okay. I can see where this would not be as easy because you're not gluing it down, but you still got to get it centered. You could clip it to hold it in place. I might do that. Kind of get it where it needs to be. Get over there. It's not that easy, guys. Okay, let me get some clips out of my little bowl that has everything in it. Hold this down and then lay this other pocket on there without moving the white with the navy. Good luck with that. I don't know if these will reach in there or not. Nope, let me get my other ones. You guys, I have quilter's clips. I got these because I saw Rachel at Foxy Creations using these with her paper projects, and I liked it better because they go further in. Let's see if they go in far enough for this. I don't know. We'll see. But they're cool little things. Now, they're still pretty tight. See, look at that. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Rachel started out doing a lot of, she was a seamstress. And so she, you know, she had the clips already. And don't you just love the little create what you love cup or jar? Okay, so I'm just going to clip in those 3 places since we're going to stitch around. Okay, we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm looking to see if it's straight after all of that. Yeah, it is. So you can see where this would be quicker and you don't have to take a chance of gluing it in the wrong spot. Okay. I'm taking that one clip off. Once you get this one side down, you don't really have to have the clips because it will hold it. And makes a difference. Yeah, this is lots easier. It takes a second to line it up, but you don't have to worry about your tag fitting in the pocket, you know. Excuse me. I don't know about you, but man, the allergy stuff is a killer. I don't have a virus or anything, but I got that little scratchy throat from the junk in the air. Our news guy here said, you know, it's going to be all the pollen and stuff's going to be high today, and I just thought that was weird. Or some of the stuff is going to, maybe it was mold. I don't know. One of those things. Okay. So now that was awesome. And now we're going to sew the big one around the pocket, the back of the pocket. And we're going to do this in zigzag. So, wait a minute, I did that wrong. Excuse me just a second. I got to turn it off and reset it. You know, sometimes. Okay. There we go. I want to get that same size we had before because it was perfect. But my machine, I'm still learning. And it's, you know, there's still little things about it I don't know. I probably could have done this just a tiny bit. I could have done it just a tiny bit larger, the zigzag, but of course I didn't want to take a chance that my tags wouldn't fit, but I do like this size. See right there? It just, you know, it takes longer to sew around something when your zigzag is tinier, because the stitches are closer together. Ooh, Paula. Okay. Almost done with this pocket. And when we're done with this pocket, we can do the grommets on this one. And then the other one should be dry by then. And if we have time, we'll do one more. I think these are cool now. I did do funky colors, I know. But I was wanting to use scraps because we have so many scraps to use up. Don't you agree? Everything is crazy. Okay, so now these two little pockets I just inked around because they were white on the back. And I'm just going to slip them in. They don't even have to have any kind of topper on them. They're just cute. Let me get it in there. See? Now, because I have that white in the background, you kind of want this tag to be over in the front a little bit. Okay? This one's going to need a grommet, and this one's going to need one. So let's just see. Let me move my machine over just a little bit so we can bring in my crocodile. Yeah, I have the table one, you guys. And it is quite interesting. Okay, I hope you can see this, but you might not be able to. So I'm going to poke a hole first, okay? The size hole, I'm trying to remember what size hole. This is terrible, but I can never remember. Let me look here. Yeah, that's the bigger hole. We'll find out if it's wrong, we'll find out right now. So I'm going to do both tags with the larger hole. So you poke your holes first, okay, and then you switch this to do the grommets. You put it on here. This is going to be the front. It's going to be white, okay. So I have mine already set to this size because it will do two different sizes. I'm not real good at this. Sometimes I have to do it more than once. Oh, I probably need to stand up and just press it one more time. It looks pretty good. If I put all my weight on it, just mostly because I'm not super strong, then it looks a little better. That one's not perfect by no means. So we're going to do the next one. I got to set back down, excuse me. And we've already poked the hole. We're going to put the grommet in. Most people don't put grommets in their tags and so forth, but I just thought it looked nice. Okay. Then we're going to go over here, line this one up, and hope for the best. Because I hate to start over, don't you guys? Let me see. The front looks good. And the back looks good. Awesome. I feel like I've accomplished something. Now, when I use grommets like this, and I don't very often, see this tag is fitting. I'm surprised. It's because of the glitter glue. But it just helps you to notice that tag. I mean, if you want to put tiny ones in here, so be it. Go for it. Do what you want. It's your project. And I'm going to put this inside here. If you don't do it as a floating pocket, you don't really have to do this Oh, you know what? I forgot to stitch around that because I was waiting on it to glue or to dry. So let's do that real quick. We got to get that stitching under there. Okay. Now we're going to do single stitch. Okay, now let's get it down here. We're going to stitch around this. I was wondering why it was gapping open on the edges. It's because I was needing to. I went a little crooked right then because I let go of my. This is not my most perfect stitching. You know, sometimes you just stitch something and it's... When I really hate it, when I really think my stitching is too crooked or whatever, I will just do a second stitch around. And that will let me know... Whoops. Okay, I went too far over. So see, this is definitely not my best stitching. I'll do it and make it look intentional. Kind of like when you doodle, if you're not straight on your doodling, you go ahead and do a second one to make it look like it was meant to be like that. That's what I do. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm not going to stitch it again on video, but... See, where did it go? Right here. See how it's kind of... I got off a little bit, but you know what? I don't care. I don't worry about it being super perfect unless it's for something I need it to be super perfect. Okay, now get in there. When you have stitching on it, you know, I'm making these as floating pockets, but you don't have to. If you change your mind after you've made them as floating pockets, you can still go back and glue them down. It's okay. Okay, so here is our first finished, let me turn this. First finished floating pocket with 4 tacks, 3 pockets. And I like it because if you alternate all these different prints and stuff, you know, it's cool. If I decided with this one, I wanted it to not be a floating pocket and I wanted it to go in a pocket. I mean, if I did want it to be a floating pocket, I would put something on the back. You know what? I should have put something on the back of this one. It doesn't really matter. I think there's so much journaling spaces in most of our tags. I wouldn't even have I wouldn't have gave it a thought if I wasn't talking it out with you. So there's number 1. Let's go back and get this one finished. We've got to do this again. And I'm going to move these small ones aside. I'm going to go ahead and pull it back to the 3/16. There we go. And on this one, I'm going to do it in the center, as close to center as we can. Yeah. So there we go. Now, we're going to do the grommet. We're going to push this. Why did that just move on me? There it goes. Because it's up. Now, we're going to go to the grommet setter. I'm going to put this brown one. Woohoo! We're using different colors today. I don't put the colored ones usually on my books unless it's just necessary. Come out of there. Oh, now I know why, because it grabs it. Oh, that's why. It's tight is why it does it. All right, that makes more sense now. I was wondering why it was. So this one is done. Let's do this little one. I got my hole a little bit too far to the left. Hope I didn't have my head in there just then. So there we go. Okay, so on this one, we've got our little paneling, but we got our journaling on the back. My stitching's not that great, but that's okay. This is homemade, and I just do the best I can. All right, we'd be here all day if we were trying to be perfect. Okay, and then we're gonna go in here. This is the one we glued, and it's gonna fit, but it's tight. So you're better off to stitch like we did in the last one, which I thought was the glued one, but you guys know. When you're working on them, you're lucky just to get through, you know, making them. Okay, so I did a little craft tag for down here. I just cut little small tags. And then I did this one. So I kind of want to lap it over here. And then I have just an extra one. This is just an extra one I had. So there you go. So this is our next one. Let me see how much time we have. I think we have time to do one more. We do. We do. So, in the next one, we are going to do one in navies. Oh, we did one in navies already. Well, I must have had plenty of navy. What did I do with the other grommet? Of course, it fell off somewhere. Don't you love it? Well, I've got more right here next to me. I'll find it a week later. You know what I mean? It'll show up. It'll show its face. Okay, so we got those blue. Let's see. Now, I already glued underneath this. So all we have to do is single stitch around. So let's do that first. Get the stitching over with. And hopefully I can do a little better this time. This one's going better so far. Okay, so we've got this one done. Now remember, I'm going to remember again that we have to sew the other pocket on the other way. So, go to get my stitching correct. No, I don't know why it does that you have to reset to get your zigzag to be right. Okay, now we're going to put the back over because we don't want to use that back. We're going to just use this part and the front part. This was out of an old journaling card. Listen, I don't throw anything away, and I thought the butterfly at the top was kind of cute, so I just thought, well, I'll use that. Now, I got this lined up pretty close. But I am going to clip it just to be on the safe side. You know, gotta be on the safe side. My hands don't work right half the time. My left hand is obviously not as strong as my right, but neither one of them are that great. So I'm just going to actually do it on the one side. I don't think we need it on the other side. And wait a minute, I put that on zigzag. That's supposed to be straight stitch. Sorry, guys. You know, it's not like we make these every day, right? If I did or made them as a routine thing, I think I would remember, but it wasn't until I set it down that I realized, oops, that's supposed to be straight. I didn't remember because I hadn't even looked at it and thought about it, honestly. It's because in my brain, I was going to skip right over this part and go over to the zigzag, which would have been wrong, right? And so, and you want to double back on this right here because it is going to be where you pull tags in and out. I almost went too long on that when I did. I don't think I'll make anything perfect, do I? Look at that. See, I don't like the way that looks. I could stitch this longer to match them, but why make it look doubly bad, right? Now we're going to zigzag, because we're going to zigzag this pocket. Okay. I think that's right. We'll see. We'll see if this is right. I'm going to zigzag right here. Okay. Oh man, that's not right. Something happened to my stitching. Well, we're going to go ahead and finish it. We have a super tiny zigzag. Don't ask me why it did that. I'll have to look into it. That looks kind of funny. It started off correct, or maybe not. I guess it's all right. That is the world's tiniest zigzag, you guys. So you know your machine will do it. I must have had a number off. You know how you have to adjust your stitches to get your things to be, oh, no, that's not far enough. Got to go a couple more stitches. I'm just going to turn it. There we go. Since this is so small, this definitely will probably end up being my example, kind of, sort of. I don't know, I may use it. It depends after I give it an overview. But that just shows you that even though you've made several, they're easy to, you know, there's a lot to remember with these tags. I'm going to hold this up and let you see how tiny this zigzag is. Look at that. Teensy tiny. And I don't know what the heck I did with my sewing machine. There is absolutely no telling why I got it that small. But it's usable. Okay, so these two little tags are going to go into this pocket. And you can decorate these little tags if you want, but you don't have to. These two have to have grommets. I don't know where that other grommet went. I still don't see it. It's not there. So we'll get another one. Here's my thing of grommets. Do you guys have a big container with all different colors? This is when I thought I was going to be the grommet queen. Thought I needed every color. Do you guys remember going through those phases? I'm crazy. What can I say? Okay, now I got to find, hope I can find another one. Okay, let me look down here. I think I only had 2 this color. So, we'll just pick another color. What would be good? We have other types of blues. And I probably have more of these somewhere. But because I can't see them quickly, I'm just going to move along. Let's just do the same blue that we did earlier. It kind of looks purple, but that's okay. No, it's really not purple. It is blue, but we're going to use it. So we're going to go back to our 3/16 hole punch. What did I do with the other tag? Oh, yes, that's me, Goofy Paula. There's that hole. See if I can get this one straight this time. There's that hole. Okay. Now, I'm going to turn it back to setting the grommet. And let's do this. I hope you guys are enjoying this whole tag series. Let me know below if you are. If not, we'll go on to some other things and just kind of mix tags in. But I've had several people ask me to do the tag series again. You know, we had the tag series last year. And this one, I just feel like I need to tighten it a little bit more. Yeah, that's better. And this tag series, I think so far we're having neater, cooler tags. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. So my little grandson, I got to tell you what he said to his mama this morning. He's calling Grammy and Papa at the crack of dawn. No, I did not answer. He FaceTimes when he calls. And I was so tired. We slept in because we stayed up to 2:30 last night. And so here he is calling at the crack of dawn, and we're like, I'm not answering. My husband said, I'm not answering. Because, you know, we're exhausted. And so my daughter texted after he tried 2 or 3 times and we didn't answer. I guess he went and told his mom. And she says, Mom, I'm sorry. And I said, oh, that's okay. I said, just have him text afternoon, you know. That way we have time to get up and get around. And she says, I'm sorry. She says, you know what? He's having breakdowns. He asked me this morning, Mom, is Lucy and I never going to get to go anywhere but in our yard? And basically, yes, that's how it's going to be until she said he just having like a little breakdown because he couldn't, you know. Now, see, I think those grommets look even better. What do you think? So we have number 3, number 2, and number 1. Can you guys see all those? So, this is tag series number 5, I believe. And my husband made me up some little papers, and I've already misplaced them again. Oh, my word. He will think I'm, nope, there they are. Because I have to repeat these things that are on this sheet. I have to repeat to my husband 2 or 3 times. And because he does all my loading the video and all that stuff. And eventually he's going to learn how to edit. Who knows when that will happen. He's got too much on his head, his brain right now. But anyway, this is the things I do. See my name? This is the things he does once I give it to him. I have to put the video time, the title I want, who I want to link, and the date I uploaded, that he, you know, that it gets uploaded. What can I say? Okay, so I'm going to lay this here for a minute for those of you that might want to look at it again. Let me zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to tell you, let me get on here like that. There you go. I want to thank all the people who have subscribed. You could tell everybody's home and going out of their mind, you know, by the number of subscribers you get. They discover you, you know, and so that's been super nice. That helped me a little bit. So we're getting real close to 2,000. And I know at one point I said we were going to do the rainbow book, but we haven't actually finished the rainbow book. And so I'm going to probably pull my favorite one out of the shop, and that's going to be what we give away. And I might even give away more than one thing. So we'll see how that goes. It depends on the number of people that enter my friendship page. I want to do a friendship book journal, and so I'm telling you guys this ahead of time so you can be thinking, which is basically 8.5 by 11 piece of tea stained paper. You just fold it in half and decorate the 4 sides. And I don't need anything more than that, just that. But I am going to draw by those entries, because last time when we reached 1,000, I had some people that were kind of upset because I have people that comment all the time, and I have people that stick by my side, you know, through thick and thin, and they felt like we should have just had the giveaway for those people, because someone that doesn't do that, I guess they thought would win it. So this time when I saw Rachel and Gina and Angela doing the friendship page, I thought, this is perfect. That will solve the problem. So whoever will take the time to send me those pages will get to be entered in the giveaway. So that's what we're going to do. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video. I think it's going to be something different than tags, but I have another thing I want us to do. So we're going to kind of in between bounce around. My next journal is going to be a gardening journal. And I don't have it right here, or I'd give you a little glimpse, but take my word for it. It's going to be cute. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. Welcome to all the new subscribers, and I appreciate the ones that stick by my side, which is the rest of you. Love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.